Hare Krishna, my pranams to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Honorable the President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, the Governor of Karnataka, Shri Vajubai Rudabai Wala, the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Shri Siddharamayaji, Union Minister Shri Prakash Javadekar and Shri Sadanand Gowda, former Union Minister Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi, Education Minister of Karnataka, Tanwar Seth, MLA Shri K. Gopalaya, Mayor of Bangalore, Mr. Manjunath Reddy, and our special invitee, Srimati Sudha Murthy, and all the friends of Akshaya Patra who are gathered here. The story of Akshaya Patra is a unique one, wherein hundreds of strangers came together, often mysteriously, to join hands for a selfless cause over past 16 years. Today is a day of thanksgiving. Firstly, I thank God for mystically setting and revealing to us at various stages the milestones along the journey of Akshaya Patra. Way back in the year 2000, during my discussion with Mohandas Pai and Abhay Jain, on Mohandas's suggestion, the temple took up a small service of feeding 1,500 children in 5 schools in the neighborhood of the temple from the temple kitchen. When we started feeding, there was absolutely no vision of a long-term scaled program. It was simply a service the temple was extending to feed a maximum of 5,000 children. Soon word spread around to many schools in the neighborhood. In 2 months, there was a fat file on my table with request letters to feed about 1 lakh of students. There was no government midday meal program in 2000 for us to receive any government support. I did not have the courage to take up such a big commitment of recurring cost. So I put away the fat file that kept staring at me every morning when I took seat in my office. Then one day, after hearing the following anecdote from the life of Srila Prabhupada, everything changed. I could no longer ignore that fat file. One day during Srila Prabhupada's stay in Mayapur in 1976, he heard some children screaming and dogs barking outside his window. He went over to the window and was horrified to see some village children were fighting with the street dogs over the remnants of food disposed outside. Srila Prabhupada was deeply moved by what he saw and immediately called all his leaders and issued a mandate that no one within 10-mile radius of any ISKCON temple should go hungry. This compassionate response and mandate of Srila Prabhupada was a single pivotal inspiration that shaped Akshaya Patra to its present stature as a scaled-up feeding program. Soon after this, we set out to scale the feeding to 1 lakh children, with Srila Prabhupada's blessings and faith that the Lord will provide all that was required. Within the next few months, we set up a separate kitchen in the temple dedicated for midday meal program. Temple missionaries went out collecting donations. Chanchalapati Das took charge of the day-to-day challenges of expanding the program, practically acting as a CEO. When we had touched feeding 5,000 children per day, I met Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi. After hearing about the program, he said, "This is like Akshaya Patra of Mahabharata." And just like that, the program came to be known as Akshaya Patra. In October 2001, ISKCON registered a secular trust different from ISKCON Temple by the name Akshaya Patra Foundation. I invited Mohandas Pai and others as independent trustees. From this point onwards, the Akshaya Patra Foundation took over the program that was run by the temple for almost a year. During the next 4 years, the temple missionaries went on an intensive drive for collecting donations in Bangalore city and receiving overwhelming response for thousands of donors. Meanwhile, independent trustees Mohandas Pai, Abhay Jain, Ramdas Kamath, Balakrishna, Raj Kundur were on the lookout for every opportunity to connect potential donors to the temple practically every weekend. In one such visit, Prabhakar of KPMG agreed to take up auditing the foundation on a pro bono basis. On one occasion, when we took up the feeding in DJ Halli school with over 1,000 Muslim children, some of the members of the community raised objections, stating that the food was coming from the temple. We invited 15 big business leaders of the Muslim community, along with a few mullahs, to the temple. They saw the exclusive high-tech kitchen and realized that the program was done by a secular foundation. They unanimously welcomed the program, and even one of them instantly agreed to donate to cover the cost of feeding in that school. I thank the community for their understanding. The biggest boost to Akshaya Patra came when the Government of India and several state governments started implementing the cooked midday meal program in 2003-04, starting with the Karnataka government during the chief ministership of S.M. Krishna. We were proud to partner with the government's program. Today is an occasion to celebrate and acknowledge the successful public-private partnership of Akshaya Patra with Government of India and all the state governments. It is this alliance that has played a significant role for Akshaya Patra to scale this program to the level it is today. After this, Akshaya Patra surged forward and its growth was unstoppable. Abhay Jain got letters of invitation from chief ministers of Rajasthan and Gujarat for Akshaya Patra to come to their states. Today, we are covering 11 states. One of our NRI supporters, Ravi Narayan, helped us register a non-profit foundation in US to collect donations. Deshpande in Boston had already heard the midday meal program from Murthy's in Bangalore and was looking forward to participate. Chitranga Chaitanya Das and Sridham Krishna Das were sent to US to collect funds. When Chitranga Chaitanya Das met Deshpande, he immediately offered to participate in fundraising and personally donating to set up a professional team to raise funds. Subsequently, I requested him to chair the foundation in USA. Today, 20% of the deficit funds is raised by the US Foundation under the leadership of Deshpande. With the support of personal funds of Srimati Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy, Deshpande, the first mega kitchen costing over 12 crores came up in Ibli in 2006. In 2008, Infosys Foundation entered the scene and they have been the biggest corporate donor of Akshaya Patra. Then next, Cisco partnered in a big way along with their employees. Then the next surge happened with the announcement of the CSR policy. Many public sector undertakings and banks partnered with the foundation. In 2009, Raj and Hinduja contributed capex to setting up of a small startup kitchen in Mysore. Ravindra Chamaria, who got introduced through Akshaya Patra USA, personally contributed and also single-handedly raised funds for 3 mega kitchens from his business circles. In 2012, Shankar Mahadevan composed a beautiful anthem for Akshaya Patra with lyrics from Javed Akhtar. In 2013, Narayan Murthy and Deshpande brought Sri Ratan Tata to the Hubli kitchen. Jamshedji Tata Trust donated a big sum to build a reserve for Akshaya Patra. Giant business houses like Bank of Tokyo, Huawei, NetApp, Citibank, Canara Bank, Union Bank and many others started partnering. Thousands of individual donors from all over the world have supported one or more children by contributing through websites. A few weeks back, Akshaya Patra launched its services in Maharashtra by the efforts of Vandana Tilak and Ravi Tilak from California. We are very grateful to thousands of other donors and supporters playing their roles big and small, who made it possible for us to serve a total of 2 billion meals. The media played a very crucial role in presenting Akshaya Patra to the world and hence has been a valuable partner for this great cause. Well, all these wonderful people were coming together at different stages of Akshaya Patra's growth. A group of 20 young, enthusiastic, highly educated missionary devotees reporting to Chanchalapati took up all the day-to-day growth pains of setting up and supervising of running the kitchens, assisted by professional managers and over 5,000 staff members, expanding the feeding program to 14 lakh children per day by 2013. Simultaneously, the Board of Trustees was raising to bring up the level of governance on par with the best of the companies in for-profit sector. In the year 2013, Akshaya Patra became the first and the only NGO to go on to the Hall of Fame of ICAI, winning the Gold Shield Award for the best accounting practices for the 5 continuous years. Ramdas Kamath has been our internal financial watchdog, detecting any unnecessary expenditure. By 2013, we had built an excellent team of dedicated professionals committed to the cause, led by CEO Sridhar Venkat, who works under the Board of Trustees as well as under a management council of missionary unit presidents. With an excellent governance and management structure in place, we are poised for a speedy expansion to fulfill our immediate mission of feeding 5 million children by 2020. When I think of how the vision of Akshaya Patra unfolded in little steps, from feeding 1,500 to 1 lakh, then to 5 lakhs, and then to 15 lakhs today, I realized that the selfless causes are God's own causes. Such causes have God's own vision and is backed by God's own power. Those who serve such a divine vision are humbled and feel blessed for being instruments for executing God's will beyond their individual capacities. I believe that Akshaya Patra has just begun its services to the children of this country. There are 120 million children in government schools of this country. I believe that we are being prepared by the Almighty for bigger goals, eventually even more than feeding 5 million children per day. I pray that there will be a day when we look back and say that even 5 million was a small mission. Thank you and Hare Krishna.